Hey everybody, Jesus loves you. My name's Cody, and you are watching the Friday episode of the Christian News Show thing that I do. And before we start with the news, I want to give you an update, even though I told you that updates would be in vlogs that I never make. I won't have a Monday episode, probably. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. There'll be something there, I think. But probably not the news show because I'm going to Heaven Fest on Saturday, and I'll be camping there, so I'll come back Sunday, which is when I usually record, and I'm not going to have time to record because I will be traveling. So, there'll be something. I am going to be asking questions out at Heaven Fest, so if you guys want to leave a question down below for me to interview random people that are there, I'm going to do that. So, yeah, that's the update. I said it as fast as possible. And also another update, if you want to go to c28.com, which is where I get most of my shirts that you see me wear, they have a shirt called No Jesus, No Peace, and when you buy that, you donate $5 to the victims of the Aurora Massacre. I love c28.com. It's the home of like Not of This World shirts. You see Not of This World around the NOTW. It's a really awesome company. And I have been trying to avoid the gun law type stuff because it was literally right after the massacre they started talking about it, and I thought that was terribly inappropriate. But it's becoming news, and it's obvious politics. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have an educated opinion on this. I think that we should have guns. I think hunting's a thing. I think that home protection is necessary. But I also don't think that you need an AK-47 for hunting or grenades. And Obama seems to think so too. He's given out a speech. He was like, you know, AK-47s, they belong in a war, not on the streets, and I think that they should have better gun control on guns like that so that psychopaths can't get a hold of them. Obama says that we should reinforce the laws that we have now, make a few other ones, make sure that AK-47s are not in houses. And on the other hand, not Mick, which I said in another video, and somebody caught it, but not in the comments, someone that I know, so that was nice. Mitt Romney says, you know, we shouldn't make any more laws, we shouldn't have any gun laws, there's nothing we can do. We can only do so much. And he does have a good point. If you take the guns away from people and they can't buy them in the US, they're gonna buy them from somewhere else. If you look at Mexico, there's pretty strict gun laws there, but the mafia just comes up to America and buys them anyways. You can get the guns somewhere else if you don't buy them in your area. And there's the Switzerland government who doesn't have an army, so they give their citizens guns and train them how to use them every year. It's good to know that they have a really low massacre rate, but it's also good to know that, including myself, people in America would freak out if we were all like, oh, no more army. Everybody's part of the army now. So yeah, personally, I think the government can do so much. They can restrict AK-47s, which I think is really smart, and assault rifles like that. Let people have their handguns, let people have their rifles for hunting and things like that, and just deal with it. I think that the government can do so much, people have to do the rest. A lot of people are arguing that everybody should have assault rifles and that no one will shoot anybody, but it's America, and I just have a feeling that that wouldn't work as well because we're Americans. But yeah, so that's Obama's opinion, that's Mitt Romney's opinion, and then that's my very, very uneducated opinion, but I figured I'd give it a go. And the next story is about Iran because they're having a Christian revival that is just huge. They're estimating there are 2 to 7 million Christians in Iran right now, and it's raising 20% every year. So there's not much information given on how it's going about, but they have satellites which are illegal in Iran, and people are using those satellites to watch TV, and they're watching this thing called Network 7, which is a Christian channel that gives out the gospel. But it's also true that if you convert from Islam to Christianity in Iran, it is illegal. So part of me is like, yes, this is awesome, this is great. The other part of me is like, this looks like it's going to be a war, another civil war, which that wouldn't be good. So prayers out to them. So of course, prayer for the revival, because that's awesome. But prayers that it's peaceful because they're growing in really rapid numbers, and I see a civil war happening, and nobody wants that. So it's all pretty exciting. Links in the description below, and we move on. And our final story isn't much of a news story, it's just a news blog that I found that I thought would spark up some good conversation. And the final story brought up the question, why are the youth leaving the church? Because in the last few years, they've been leaving at a pretty rapid rate. And it kind of makes a lot of sense because teens go through different phases, they hang out with different people, they're not at church all the time because they're not forced to. And so they start talking to other people and they're like, oh, maybe this whole church thing isn't what we thought it was, and they start questioning it and they start to doubt. And for me, that whole doubt idea is more than familiar because I used to be an agnostic for 2.5 years. As a kid, I went to church every single day, but once I got to my high school years, I had some questions that couldn't be answered and it didn't make sense to me. Why should I live my life one way and miss out on my entire teenhood when I could be living it and living it to the fullest and things like that and what I thought was life? So it makes just a lot of sense that people are going to doubt, and they're going to act on that doubt as fast as possible and try to express themselves in their own way. So the news blog talked about a lot of the reasons why the youth are leaving the church, but they didn't talk almost at all about how to keep the youth there. So that's kind of my question of the day for you guys. What do you think would keep the youth at the church? Why do you think they're leaving? What I'm kind of interested in is the atheist opinion on why the youth are leaving the church, and more for the Christians on why would the Christian youth stay. I know I say it a lot, but I think it's just the culture. I think there's no culture in Christianity. Our entertainment sucks. We have nowhere to go hang out with besides church, which can be boring. And I can't say that all entertainment sucks. We have good music, but we don't have good TV. Our YouTube is this. And then you have movies, which are just now starting to get good, but before they were just terrible movies. There's just, I know entertainment and culture are two different things, but entertainment is a big part of culture. So that's why I try to do what I do, is to give some piece of culture out there. But beyond that, when you have only church to go to once or twice a week, and then you go out into the world for the rest of the week and do what the world does, you're gonna get lost and you're gonna not feel that need to be clinging to your Christian beliefs. Anyways, that's my take. I want to know yours. I want to know your guys' opinions. So comment in the comment section below. Leave a video response. Do whatever you want to do. From that, we go on to the verse of the day. And the verse of the day is James chapter 1, verse 6. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt. Because one who doubts is like a wave of the sea. It's just blown and tossed by the wind. Now, I just want to point out that I'm saying this out of context. James chapter 1, verse 1 through 6 or so is about when you ask God for something, make sure that you believe him and you don't doubt what he says. Don't doubt his answer. But as I'm talking about it, I'm talking about doubt in general. And I want to just point at that little key point in that verse, and that is, because if you doubt, you will be like a wave of the sea being tossed and blown around by the wind. That specifically is what I want to point out, because it makes too much sense. Because when you think of somebody who doubts, whenever they see another argument, they find some kind of solution to what they're doubting, they just take it without even thinking about it whatsoever, and you have to question everything that you believe. So I guess that's my 2 cents. If you doubt something, don't believe the first thing you hear about it, because it seems to happen a lot with people. Anyways, that's all I found interesting in the news today. So in closing, haters keep hating, critics keep ranting, everybody like and subscribe. I will see you later, and God bless.